Riverside Cemetery is the oldest cemetery in Smithfield, established in 1777 from a parcel of land along the Neuse River by John Smith, from where the town was also named after. John Smith was born in 1736, and he really wanted the land close to the river, and he achieved regional fame as the founder of a riverside settlement in North Carolina.
Um, John Smith Jr., he was the founder of the town of Smithfield, and his family owned all this property where the old part of town is along the river, and including where the cemetery is. So he provided the land for the beginning of that cemetery the same year that they chartered the town, which was in 1777.
Mm-hmm.
So when they chartered the town, shortly after that, he deeded to the town a land for, as he called it, a burying ground. So same person that founded the town of Smithfield founded the cemetery because it was all his land to begin with. And it was a John Smith Jr. Lots of John Smiths in history, but he's not the one from Virginia that started Jamestown. This is another John Smith.
Okay. Cemetery.
Well, I mean, it was 1777 when it was set up. We don't have any records of when the first person was buried there, so you just have to say 1777 is when it started. To be sure, they probably buried at least one person there the first year. You can't tell because the graves, there are no gravestones that have survived from the beginning, but there are probably graves out there, but they probably use wooden markers, and they're just not there anymore. But it's safe to say it's been there since that long. You'll have to do the math on how many years. That's well over 200 years. It's mainly Smithfield family, because I mean most every town in the county has a public cemetery that the town owns. Selma has one. I mean, so this one is mainly people that lived in Smithfield, and so it's got all the prominent families and lesser-known families, and there are other cemeteries in town. Probably safe to say that the prominent families from way like 100 years ago, almost all of them are buried at the Riverside because it was really about the only place. Well, I think the answer to that own question, because it's as old as it is, and so even though we don't have any tombstones that go back to 1777, there are a lot of them that go back into the over 100 years ago, 150 years ago, even, during the Civil War. And although some of them you can't read, a lot of them you can still read the names, the dates of birth and death, and stuff like that. So we collect information here at the Heritage Center on old cemeteries because sometimes it's the best or the only record we got. The further back you go of when people were actually born and when they died, because they didn't have birth certificates or death certificates many years ago. So those tombstones are pretty important. So that's other than just being a historic site, it's got a practical use because it does have that information saved on those tombstones, that the granite ones that have survived all these years.